So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the summer edition of Conversations with. This is a new way to interact with our residents, but also with contractors, with communities in general. We think that it's important to talk to people as a conversation, but also focus on things and themes which are important to people. We have little time, we will be quite focused and concentrated on what we're going to be saying. Today, we're talking about social value, and with us is Reed and Voluntary Action Leicestershire. Reed is one of our contractors and it provides some services, obviously, in terms of staffing. And Val, Voluntary Action Leicestershire, provides support in volunteering to the communities in Leicestershire. This is a quite different aspect of that because we want to know what happens as a result of it. So we will omit all the things which are quite boring and we go into the essence of what happens. So let's just start. I'm going to start with you, Lucie, first. If you don't mind, introduce yourself. In fact, I will say introduce all of you very briefly, and then I'll go with each of you asking you some questions, please. Okay. So starting with you, Lucie, please.
Yes, so my name is Lucie Oatley. I'm the Client Development Manager on the Leicestershire County Council account. My role is really focused around continuous improvement and social values, which is why I'm here today.
Thank you. Keith?
Hi, I'm Keith Priestley. I'm the area manager for the branch in Leicester. We look after a large part of the contract here in recruiting staff for Leicestershire County Council.
Thank you. And last but not least, Dave.
I'm Dave Cliffe from Voluntary Action Leicestershire. I'm the sector support team manager, so obviously we work with community groups, support volunteering, and we've been working with Reed on a series of different sessions.
Good. Thanks very much, all. So my first question is very much going to the core of it. For some people, social value is something complicated, something not very much understood, perhaps something which becomes an added cost into what they're doing. How did it work for you? How easy or complicated was to work on the social value aspect of the contract? So if I start with you, yes. Lucie, please.
Yes, so it's been fairly easy. We actually work for an organisation that's dedicated to social values. So our whole Reed Foundation is really about giving back. We really look to improve lives through work, and this really means everything from charitable work through to employability skills, and education really is at the heart of what we do. So I would say it's been fairly easy for us to undertake this work.
And what about you, Keith? How did it work for you? What element of the aspect of social value were you involved with?
Well, some of the things I've been involved with Dave was we were helping adults with learning disabilities and to cope with the interview process and how to navigate their way through and making them feel as comfortable as they can when they're doing that. So yeah, it's not much time out of my day at all.
So Dave, I mean that is quite interesting. How did it work for you? The other aspect that usually we don't hear as much is from the point of view of the beneficiaries of that social value. Because also it's a cohort of people that tends to be fairly excluded. So how did it work that with you? Who did you work with? And anything that they say about it?
Well, quite a mixture. I suppose we've kind of dropped you into some weird and wonderful situations quite often online. So obviously we've kind of looked at interview techniques and kind of supporting some of the individuals we work with. We've also done some work with organisations where we've been looking at employer value sort of proposition. And we've evolved that idea into kind of volunteering value proposition and looking at other things with organisations, kind of thinking beyond just employability, but there's been so many sort of different links actually, and lots of, I guess, unexpected and unintentional benefits where it's gone in different directions with us.
I guess that's a question, I understand, but a question for people who may watch this and thinking, what is a volunteer proposition? Lucie, for example.
So the volunteer value proposition is really everything that encompasses working for an organisation as a volunteer. So it's really what that person will experience when they're volunteering. It will be the culture of the organisation, it will be the duties of the role, it will be the impact that they have, and different people volunteer for many different reasons. Some people like it because of the social aspect, some people want to give back, some people want to do something for their local community. So every volunteer is different. There's so many different voluntary opportunities out there. So I guess really looking at that volunteer value proposition is really why is your organisation, or how does it attract volunteers? What does it bring?
And Dave, from your point of view, working with those potential beneficiaries and people who are going to be hopefully taking some of this advice, how did it work for them? How did they felt about the proposition? How did they? Is it something that you think is being helpful for them, or is it going to be helpful?
Definitely helpful. I think it's opened up their eyes to different ways of thinking about it and different terminology, and we've kind of been getting people to think about some of the things they probably already do, but actually formalising that and kind of their planning and preparation. I think one of the things, and you'll know this one from working with communities, people get involved in things, take things on, but don't think about some of the skills that they can bring and they can tap into. So I think it's kind of been getting people to think about doing things a little bit more formally, not too formally, but it's kind of thinking that planning techniques and what hints and tips can people take to add value to what they're doing. So that's kind of social value at work.
So, Keith, from your point of view, can you just tell us maybe one or two of those propositions, some of those social value contributions that you made to the contract, please?
Yeah, I and my team have been involved in going to the job centres and interviewing local residents that are needing support, helping to look work. I think there's over 45 now that we've sort of supported through either interview advice, jobs fairs, and just supporting them and building their confidence so that they feel comfortable applying for jobs.
Good. And Lucie, if I can ask, and that would be my last question, from your point of view as Reed, how did it work? Let me just rephrase that. Did you think social value is something worth for you as an organization? Not just because it's part of a contract and so on, but do you find that value and why?
We absolutely do. We absolutely do. I think we're in a prime position where we can use some of the skills that we have as an organisation and really impact local communities. So, whether we're actually working with a number of schools, and I know we have across the county. I think we've worked with about 950 pupils really on careers days, mock interviews, lots of different sessions. So that's one way that we're in the right place to actually be able to support. I guess really in terms of some of the other things, we've been donating Easter eggs to children's centres. I think we had a donation of around sort of 560 Easter eggs, and those were all donated by our own Reed employees. So it's a way that we can all sort of get together and it's a great thing for us to be involved in.
Any final words in terms of how, from your point of view, Keith, and then Dave, there will be different views, which is what I really want to get. From your point of view, Keith, what is one of the perhaps most successful parts of this contract in relation to the social value?
I think it's the feedback you get from the people that you're interacting with, and you don't do it for thanks, but the appreciation you get when it's working for somebody and you're actually making a difference in how people approach work.
Good. And Dave, from your point of view, what is the value that you take from it, from this experience?
Well, I suppose it's a specialist experience and kind of the knowledge and tools that Reed have already got, and that can make a real difference to apply that to kind of community groups, kind of volunteers that we're working with. Probably don't have access to those resources. They may not have the funding to go and get things. So anything extra we can offer to people, it all is added value, isn't it? Always.
Well, thank you very much, all of you. That's been quite interesting. And goodbye now. Thank you.